All right, here we go.
Go.
I call to order the Counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency meeting on August 19, 2024 at 4 p.m. Roll call, Ally, please.
Nick Caimano,
Here.
Jim Nolan,
Here.
Trisha Rogers, John Tafflin,
Here.
Tim Robinson, Dan Bruno,
Here.
Juan Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Everybody received.
We have 7 out of 10. Sorry.
Everybody received the July 15th, IDA board meeting minutes. I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Nick, always vote second. Got it.
I'm sorry, who was second?
Yeah, sorry. Any questions or discussions or edits? No, okay. All right.
The vote.
Yes. Ally, all in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Good to go. All right, motion passes. A little rusty, I was on vacation. Treasurers, Tim, take us over for accounts payable.
Sure, we have before you 63,709.64 payables that we're signing checks for. I'll bring your attention to three of the biggest ones. WCC 11,623.14. That's share of the profit from the rail line. And then Labella again are two big ones, but those are reimbursed for one through the HUD grant and one through NDRC. But the other questions on receivable payables. Need a motion. I'll move it.
Okay, the motion, Nick, second.
Yeah.
Brian. Brian has joined us. All right, roll call vote, Ally, please.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Nick Caimano, Jim Nolan, Risha Rogers, John Tafflin.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson, Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion
Aye.
passed.
All right, year-to-date financial report.
Next, you have the balance sheet in front of you, which we've got a question into our bookkeeping service that works with Ally. Because there is I'll direct your attention to lease receivable. I'll direct your attention to the lease receivable on page 1 of the balance sheet. $558,866 is a brand new item. We anticipate that that's the value of our lease over the next couple of years with Hewitt and others. And it's offset, we believe, by a long-term deferred inflows of resources with 529. We anticipate that's what it is, but we will answer that question and get back to the board. I'll bring it back to the board next month. Why? And we've also, Chuck brings up a good point. We were going to ask Busy Bee bookkeeping service that if there's any change like that in a substantial amount to bring it to our attention so that we can have it. She's on vacation. She could not answer the question. So we'll figure that out and report back to the board.
What do we do? County, we're not cash, are we?
Huh? It's approved.
All approved.
Yeah.
Can we do something with that number? That 558, 866, it's not gonna be the same all the time, right?
Correct.
Could we do something, I don't care, something, maybe you make an average out of it, so that we don't go big up and down.
Well, it won't. Now that it's on the balance sheet on both sides, it'll kind of flow together. The receivable will come down as we earn money and the liability will come down as we receive the money. So there was a little bit of a difference between the two, and I think it's just that 1 month.
It is 1 month, right, the 29.
Correct.
I'm just thinking about you could, or you
Well, we got 31, so.
31, yeah, it should be 31, 53.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out and report back to the board next. In terms of the income statement, you can see that there's a pretty good financial position with the total income increase. most of it coming out of our, what we call operating revenue, piece with the, Hewitt and others at the canal side. Yeah, I sold a few lots, which is non-operating income to get to the 386, and then we have expenses with, 265. Total 290, actually. It's 285 plus 500, so it's 290, resulting in net income to date of 96,000. It's not bad. It's good.
And just one final part on the balance sheet is, we are, working to stay in line with generally accepted accounting principles, which will allow us to stay out of the accounts. Stay there. So, I think why we're working at it.
Who's looking at that?
Busy.
Oh. Well, I want to notice that we have a huge current ratio.
Yes, that is very nice. All right, any final questions? And I will entertain a motion to accept the year-to-date financial report. Dan, second. Fred, oh. Yes. Brian, sorry,
Did I ask the question?
yes.
Where in the hell did you get that bird?
Somewhere in,
You know, Howard or the golf course?
somewhere near Cosmel.
Can't be efficient. You're on course. All right, Elliot, and roll call vote, please.
Brian Campbell.
Yes.
Nick Caimano.
Yes.
Jim Nolan.
Yes.
Trisha Rogers. John Tafflin.
Yes.
Tim Robinson. Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez. Motion passed.
All right, we are gonna veer off of the agenda just a bit. We're gonna bring up the application approval for Adirondack Radiology. And so we do have a guest, and we want to get them out before we jump into the reports of the committees.
Okay, just as a reminder, we have two applications, Adirondack Radiology Associates and Ferry Road Medical Building LLC, which is associated with Pinocchio. The reason for the application is Pinocchio is the site owner and Adirondack Radiology is the tenant, and they are going to receive all the benefits, even the one from Pinocchio, because they have a triple net lease. So the reduction in property taxes will benefit Adirondack Radiology. With that, I'll ask Ed Hatchett to get up and talk a little bit about the project, the background and the need, and then I'll follow up talking about the.
Thank you, Scott.
And we did, by the way, just have the public hearing last Thursday. There was a sea of people there. I'm only kidding, nobody showed up. But we did conduct the public hearing.
We were there.
We were there. We were there, right? So that's it, Ed, if you could, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you again for your consideration. This project is so important to Adirondack Radiology, and I want to just explain a little bit about the project. So currently, we operate one of our imaging centers off of Pay Road. We've been in that building for 20 years now, and as the only tenant of that building. And it's not the right size, right fit for us anymore. We moved into the Cary Road building in November of 2021. And there's an unfinished side of about 4,325 square feet. Now, the company has tried to lease that, has advertised that. They've had no luck from a commercial real estate perspective. We've been on the hook for all the expenses for that building, as well as the other building. And so this is a really good opportunity for us to consolidate those expenses, will save us somewhere in the neighborhood of about $150,000 a year just from the redundant duplicate expenses. And with that project, this gives us a couple of opportunities in sensitive technology, but more importantly, what it's going to mean to us financially and our survival going forward for many years to come, hopefully. So the technology, as I explained before, the open MRI unit is the only open MRI unit in all of Warren and Washington County. The unit is 20 years old, and the technology has just leaped forward to where now we can use some of the AI software to improve the quality of the images, as well as, more importantly, the speed of the image. Right now, our appointments are long. This will reduce appointments to 30 minutes. And that improves capacity for our region, provides greater access to needs. Most MRI units are backlogged anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks at least in many cases, and that's the same for us, whether it be here or other locations throughout New York State, across the country for that matter. So the technology is very important. And the other unit is a PET CT scanner, which is extremely valuable, really is very supportive to Glens Falls Hospital and the Cancer Center, Glens Falls Hospital. It is also a little over 11 years old, so the technology is much different again. Similar AI, it speeds it up, better images. So we see that as a huge advantage to the region, 2 counties, because these are only 2 units in this area. And this is a great opportunity. And so the benefit to ARA's application is the sales tax associated with the purchase of those two units, which they're not cheap. 2.35 million approximately is what it's going to cost us to purchase these units. So roughly 165,000 savings associated with that. The bigger need is for the practice itself. ARA has been in existence for 50+ years, serving the area. Is extremely important to Glens Falls Hospital. We read all their imaging studies, as well as Hudson Headwater, so our 2 largest providers of services and care in the region. And the difficulties associated with running a physician practice today is well documented. Last time I mentioned the closure of women's care practice, both Glens Falls and Saratoga, was directly related to the inability to recruit and attract talent to the area, as well as pay for that talent, because it's very competitive and it's very costly. In our case, we're competing with teleradiology also, which means we're a completely digital environment. We're not necessarily patient facing from a radiologist physician perspective, like primary care physician or in an OB/GYN physician. So all our work can be done remotely. And there is such shortages that many of the younger physicians are working as a teleradiologist. Less and less of them want to be in a business. And at our board meeting Thursday evening last week, we just learned that one of our younger radiologists is going to be joining teleradiology practice. So it's not good news for us. And to hire new physicians, we need finances to do that. While our finances continue to be cut by Medicare, and they just proposed the new 2025 physician fee schedule. Since I last spoke to you, there was another cut of roughly 2.8% to the fee schedule. We'll see where that ends up by the end of the year when it gets final improvement. And then, all the other expenses associated with running the practice. We've had to do 3 wage increases for our staff just the last 14 months. One of them was approved just this past Thursday, just to recruit and hopefully retain people that we have. So we want to be around for a long time. We want to be around for another 50 years if possible. And difficulty in running the practice and keeping it going in the right direction has a lot to do with finances associated. It's very well run practice, and I've only been with the practice for the last 2 years with Glens Falls Hospital for 41 years prior to that. Again, all these challenges that we're faced with in the healthcare environment makes it very difficult. So those are the opportunity to bring new technology, financial stress associated with running the practice are the reasons why we're doing something. Stop there.
So before we, does anybody have any questions before we Chuck go over the community benefits? Well, it's fresh in anybody's mind. We do.
Sure.
One overview of community benefits.
That'd be great. So let me go through the incentives, benefits. Let me go through what the application stated as far as each of the project. I'll talk about in benefits. Now, as far as ARA, the benefits that they will receive, the application has the equipment purchase of $2.38 million. That would mean that the estimated sales tax benefit is $166,600. Part two of this situation is the application from Perry Road Medical Building LLC. With that, we'll do a pilot. That'll be over 10 years, 50% exemption of real property taxes on the value of improvements, years 1 through 5, and 25% exemption of real property taxes, years 6 through 10. That totals a benefit of about $73,230 over 10 years. CRMV will also get the sales tax benefit for materials and during construction, and that's amounting to $21,000. When you take those three benefits, the total is $260,830 over the 10 years. As far as the necessity, the ADA application explains the medical service provider is contending with a challenging healthcare environment with decreasing Medicare reimbursement for physician shortages, as I just explained. ADA is consolidating pre-critical facility to reduce operating expenses and investing in new technology to improve medical services and operational efficiency. The new technology is also expected to improve recruiting talented medical staff. The ARA application states without the ability to recruit and retain our radiologists, the practice could dissolve. The Cary Road Medical Building application goes on to state the financial assistance is now received. The investment in new technology will not be made. As a result, the expansion project will not be undertaken. The local impact is the loss of jobs and loss of local availability of critical cutting edge medical services. Any questions about what I just stated before I go? For the community benefits, there are 8. First, of course, has already been talked about, providing cutting edge medical services, several patient benefits. We have the open MRI scanner and we have the PET CT scanner. I won't go into the details. I think Ed has already explained the benefits of technology. The number 2, to attract talented medical staff seeking to utilize the latest medical technology. 3, enable more competitive medical service provider and a lower risk of closure. 4, facilitate less than $600,000 in construction labor and $300,000 in construction materials, 100% being within New York State, 50% within Washington County. Retain 5 and create 1.5 full-time equivalent employment positions with estimated total wage benefits of $875,000. Generate an estimated pilot payments of $122,000 for years. Generate community cost benefit ratio estimated 1.28. That means for the cost of these incentives, the community benefit is 28 times greater, and that's with a 75% conservative factoring of the data that was on the applications. Finally, number 8, the net present value adjusted community net benefit is $5.6 million over 10 years. Any questions? Thank you.
Kara, do you have anything to add? As well as we did have our public hearing was about 24 minutes as well. We covered it extensively in there, as well as everybody had the resolution as part of the read ahead package. So if there are not any final questions.
I guess we should just note that approval for this project. So we're on the upcoming agendas. Wednesday is Warren County's meeting, and then I think the first week of September is yours.
Yeah.
And then final approvals will be at their full.
September 2nd.
12th.
12th. Yeah. And then, the 3rd Friday of September.
Would be our big board meetings. Yep.
Full board supervisors. All right, one final chance for questions. With that, I will I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution on which I'm gonna read here. Resolution taking action towards undertaking a certain project as defined herein, appointing Adirondack Radiology Associates, PC, and Cary Road Medical Building LLC as agents of the agency for the purpose of constructing and equipping the project facility and authorizing the execution and delivery of a project agreement and lease agreement and related documents by and between the agency and the company and the owner. Nick, did I get a second? Brian? Ellie, roll call.
We're gonna do it, Karen Road.
You're doing Perry Road. That's correct.
I have one question.
Yeah.
You mentioned the fact that you only open,
MRI. So you get within Washington and Warren County.
no, I go to, out by the Century. And I've been doing it for years. But sit down, I sit in there, put the headphone on, and they do it.
That's
But
considered.
that doesn't matter. I'm getting mad because you're moving out of my neighborhood and going over to Cary Road. So I wanna- we wanna take care of where to go. I do. I do. I know. Oh, that.
Don't you have a Lexus? Once you've got a Lexus.
Where's the one you got? By the Century Inn in Latham.
Yeah, it's in late, the work point, how we do.
I understand how it's one work.
We also have them in Saratoga.
Yeah.
At our center there,
Right.
and one down in Polk.
I know that, I'm just saying that. Not the only-
Yeah, that one, that unit is quite different. One you're describing.
Yeah.
Down.
And I think his point was the only one in Warren, Washington.
Yes, it was, it
It has
was.
nothing to do with Latham.
It's, how do I get there? But that's, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to get.
Was he able to answer your question?
Yep.
Good. Are there any final questions? All right, roll call vote, Ellie.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Nick Caimano, Jim Nolan, Trisha Rogers, John Taplin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson, Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Won't take congratulations, a few more steps, but I will also add that, because of the state requirements, there is a administrative, workload that is gonna happen for the next few years, and Ally, in your point of contact, we don't have many dates that we have to meet, for state requirements, so we need to provide economic development for our two counties. I would ask that the individual that you have be with Ally, ensure that they are, meeting the deadlines that she provides, because that's important for us. Any final questions?
When do you actually expect it to be up and running?
So, the equipment usually takes about 12 weeks time. The building itself, construction will take probably, so none of that is obviously started yet. Yeah, the building is
So much shit.
finished. That one side, 10 and 2 side, 4,305 square feet is just a shell. So, so probably early first quarter.
Relatively quick. Everything gets done.
Much appreciation from physicians, share. The current good news, obviously, is.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Had to get that little plug in there for the ants.
Good start, good start. All right, reports of committees, Dan, park chair update.
Yes, we had our bi-weekly meeting with Labella regarding canal side energy. Last Wednesday, August 7th. And, we're moving along. We still need a good schedule from them so we can monitor the progress, because what they've come up with to date is woefully inadequate. I'll just put it that way. Storm sewer offset, which I think you're all aware of now, what that is. Paul Guillet and Mr. Barton met with Representative DEC in Warrensburg to review the initial presentation, which I guess was done very well. And I think they are looking favorable on that to approve the offset as a result of the flow metering report, which is due for the IDA review by August 23rd. The water and wastewater project is moving along. So we say, but again, because we don't have a good schedule, we don't know the exact progress, to be honest with you. But it appears through discussion that that's going well. What else? They are in progress of retaining a surveyor to do locate the water tank on the site and some other items. MAC plan report for the water and wastewater is, we're finalizing that and it has to be approved by the Washington County Sewer and also down
Village and the sewer district.
sewer district. Anyway, so all these things are progressing. The replacement bridge project, that's under Washington County, and I haven't had anything to, I don't know where.
The only thing I'll point out is there's discussion about the detour and there's been a meeting set for September 4th, which is our develop meeting, but Juan's going to go to that meeting and you and I will go to develop. So they're just working.
Just got on the local officials, getting them up to speed and making sure that, as we had passed it before already, that the number of traffic patterns anticipated, you know, and now the officials are kind of getting debriefed on. Bridge is 2026, so plenty of time. And if we get further updates, we'll update the team.
Right. The outside maintenance updates, I'm not Chuck, do you have? Sure.
With canal side maintenance updates, our electric is advancing electrical maintenance assessment. We got an interim report today. Let me step back and say we shut down the power in the site, which is nice. So the electric assessment work was done. There's an outside company doing testing of transformer oils. We're waiting for the report. Meanwhile, our electric sent an interim report today, citing what their observations. And the good news is nothing. There is no major deficiency. Realize that will be finalized once we get the results from the transformer oil testing. But thus far, just looking at the samples, they did not see anything that would harm them. So we seem to be on good ground with that assessment. We'll learn more over the next couple of weeks. Second thing I'll point out is that our landscaping has become a little bit of a challenge with all this rain and warm weather. And so we've got grass growing everywhere and trees and bushes. So we are making a concentrated effort to go after the bushes between now and the period that allow us to start going after trees that are greater than 3 inches. That's one of the issues in New York State with the rules against taking down trees bigger than 3 inches, dealing with bats. So we're going after grass now. Students start going after bushes. We're going to start going after trees. That's it on the maintenance questions.
The tenant activity, temporary soil storage, I'm not sure where that stands now. There was an issue with the engineer for CSX and Kiewit, or actually, yeah, them. And our engineer has been somewhat involved with that.
Yeah, just as a reminder, we have the non-CSX soil already being stored on site, but for the CSX has some criteria for how the storage should occur, as did we, and the CSX hired an engineering firm that have their opinions on two issues that differ than that of our engineer, so we're in the process of reconciling what we think would be proper storage. Everything's underway, nothing alarming, we just have to work out. different-
Right. What this is CSX is the rail line, you're all familiar with that. And the transmission lines are being installed in CSX right away. And in various locations, there's some soil that is of questionable
Composition.
yeah, that's where to put it. So they're bringing that soil into canal side site. And there are what we call bins there. I don't know if you've all been there, or seen it, these large bins, and Kiewit is taking necessary steps to ensure that no leachate, no runoff water, et cetera, from that soil stored there. It goes anywhere except into some fractional tanks, the storage tanks, where all that liquid can be stored and taken and dealt with properly. So that's what the soil storage is about.
And just for clarification, there's no highly contaminated materials. Any highly contaminated material automatically gets shipped away. It's not stored at our site.
Contaminated. What?
Well, there are different degrees of contamination and,
Different constituents.
Throughout the whole place?
excuse me?
Throughout the whole place?
No.
Oh, this is again along the route.
Oh, okay.
That Kiewit
Okay.
is
It's what they're having to pull out in order to put the line in.
Yep.
So they don't know what's in it until they test it, some of it, so.
The only thing I'll add, is that with the bi-weekly meeting of the Bella, we now invited the village and town to attend the sewer district already been attending. But now we want to make sure the village and town are on board along with the village water district, so invitations are extended earlier. Their participation, better the whole project. And the only other thing I'll mention is that with tenant activities, that we continue to see a lot of grain shipment going to the site because you've read the papers, the rail strike up in Canada, that's us pushing more grain down towards us. This past July, we had 8,655 tons put into the facility, which is a big number for us. And the monthly numbers, high numbers continue to roll until this strike.
All training, or is it all?
Coming in on train, leaving on truck.
And the IEA is compensated for this, for the use of the site for offloading this thing. So it's a good thing for us.
Yeah, specifically, for example, in July's activity, revenue to us would be about 11,000. We budgeted 40 for the whole year. So the rate of 11,000 a month is a very high rate over our budget.
Well, the experience also could lead to something more in the future. So if the experience as well, they'll keep moving.
Share or
It's our share. 22 total. 11.
So that's it for canal side. As I said, we'll have more specific information as to progress of the water and wastewater systems design, and then the construction which follows after the completion of that design and the advertisement for bids. Airport Industrial Park.
Yeah, there was a couple things in there. Sorry, go ahead.
Before we, do that, any final questions on canal side before we shut it down? All right, now moving on to airport investment.
Okay, we have, just a reminder, we have one company actively working on a potential site plan for Airport Industrial Park 2. They've engaged engineering firm and we're waiting for the site plan. Number two, you may recall, we were talking with the Wetland Trust here. They've interested in some of our lots. They have come back to us and said they are not interested. Not that they think we would be lots, but they have other opportunities to look at a higher priority for them. We do have one neighbor who's expressed interest in a lot, and so we're tracking that down. We will also be notifying all the other neighbors that we are interested in selling from the lots. And then finally, Ally will have some news about landscape. I'll let her explain that in her report. later on. Unless you want to do it now.
I don't know, what are you talking about?
The rush hour.
Oh, is that good? I don't, we'll wait until it's my turn.
Any questions on, any of the remaining lots that we have in the airport industrial park? We've got two that we think are, well, go ahead.
I have a CDTSP, the Albany, transportation.
CDTA.
CDTA.
Very active. They're stoned in with their, could they be a potential, for moving it over there or moving more?
Are you airport industrial park or?
Either way.
Because West Falls Transit is currently, as you know, very close to the airport.
I know where it is, but it's not Glens Falls Transit.
That's correct.
CDTA.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not that facility, it's their facility. We can certainly ask if they're interested in expanding.
I know the guy who runs it, who's now gonna retire, so, but he's active, but he's moving along. There may be something there,
Okay.
because they're crowned, they're closed in by the airport. You know, they can't expand anywhere or do anything more. If they want to do, they could do more in Washington County if they were over across the way. That's throwing the dice
So
out.
we can run the ground, find out.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other final questions on AIP? A reminder, most of the acreage left is wetlands, and, so we've got a few sites that we think we could really use, and the rest we'll figure out how to. Dispose. All right, moving on, new business. New York local retirement,
We have ongoing business.
ongoing business. All right, everything on the foot first, yes, thank you. You want to start with that one?
I have not, so I did end up getting a hold of Bill Smith, who's the owner of Everything Underfoot, and asked them, how everything was going. They said that their lawyer needed to reach out to Kara, because their lawyer needed, more information or some sort of information. And what happened?
I have not heard anything from their attorney. I heard from the bank attorney just indicating that they were kind of wondering if we were moving forward. I said, we're ready to move forward. I don't think it makes sense.
So you have not heard from their lawyer?
No.
What is underfoot?
So this is the part, this is where we had the caveat now on the administrative part when we do application.
Ben?
Because they really have to stay involved through the entire process. And if there's not an approval of it, everything back. So the smaller they are, the more we have to, help out. And so this one, well, hopefully we'll get it closed out here. Is
it typical, like just being kind of this whole process? Is it typical that it? No.
Ally, most of them go a little bit more smoothly than this. What do you think?
Yes.
And remember, they need that sales tax. Closing occurs. So they're gonna be very motivated to get to where they need to be, so they not with those taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because they have an approval from the IDA and we haven't executed any tax. They're not getting. So, they provide us with the deliverables that we've asked for. They close with their lender. I do know that they were gonna maybe create a new entity, which is not unusual. They were working on that, they're gonna transfer the property and, but I have not heard from them.
So what you'll see is this stall, and all of a sudden, this is the hottest thing in the world, and we all look at it.
Well, I always beg, I say, please let me know, like, a little bit in advance. I can't hear, like, Wednesday, we're gonna close on this, I'm like, no.
She's like, what can I, and then I have to run the gun saw and sign some documents, so. No, but this one's, just a little tougher.
Is this a group we've worked with before, the attorneys? Have you done anything with them before? Oh, so they know how it works.
So if his attorney is familiar with the ID process, she asked me early on, she asked me a bunch of questions. And so we went over everything. She said, fine, she just had to get some things together. And the lender is MBT and Meyer Fuller, Jeff Meyer represents them, and I work with Jeff. They've also done, the bank has done other ID projects, so they have the so familiar with the process.
Just getting everything to come together.
No, we've had a couple of those too, when people, oh, I think I'll hire somebody from Pennsylvania. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be great.
Have to license. All right, any other ongoing business? that we need to discuss?
The application approvals for, oh, we already did that.
Okay. All right, moving on, new business, New York State local retirement.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I received a phone call from the billing department at the New York State Local Retirement System. And the way they explained it to me was our first year. So we started doing the retirement system in 2022. So we're pretty new to this. And what they had to do for the first year is estimate how much the first year cost was going to be. So they had estimated $14,940, which the IDA did pay. And now that that year has gone through, they estimated a little bit lower. The actual cost for that first year was actually $15,868. So they are saying that that money, the $15,868, needs to be paid by September 5th, or else that money is going to go into, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, amortization. I have such a hard time with that, if it doesn't get paid. So what they're going to do with the $14,940 that we had already paid is put that towards the 2025 bill that we will be getting in December. So this $15,868 needs to be paid in full by September 5th, and then the $14,900 will be applied towards next year's bill. And I need guidance on what you all want to do.
Oh, great.
Yes, you absolutely should.
For those that do deal with New York State, knows this is pretty common, to get the most money up now. So basically, it's all gonna level out in December. We're just paying a big chunk now, paying a little bit in December, and the 2 years level out. So this is no surprise. This is pretty common for those of us that have to deal with New York State, whether it's insurance.
And you get a reasonable, I can't remember the percentage discount, you get a reasonable discount paying it in December instead of in February. too.
Correct, yes.
So we, at the county, we always pay early, just because, yeah,
So any questions or?
move it.
Brian Johnson. Wow. And entertain a motion to pay the bill. Okay. Good. All right. Any other?
Would you like roll call?
Roll call. Yeah.
Brian Campbell,
Yes,
Nick Caimano,
Yes.
Jim Nolan,
Yes.
Trisha Rogers, John Tafflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson, Dan Bruno,
Yeah,
Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Motion passed.
Some of us are amortization by hair.
Any other new business? Other than hairstyles.
no, but I just forgot to mention our next meeting with the Bell regarding canal sites and wastewater design is this Wednesday. So we'll have more information, hopefully, regarding schedule for this project.
we'll be all done.
All right, moving on, staff report, CEO.
Okay, so going from mid-July to mid-August, back on July 19th, NYSERDA kicked off a training for a site analysis project that we decided to enroll canal site. I thought it'd be good for me to read the overview of the project, quite intriguing. The goal is to assess up to 20 existing sites across New York State for 5 clean energy manufacturing and industrial project profiles leveraging site selection methodology. NYSERDA and the ESD, Empire State Development, have collaborated to hire global location strategies, GLS, an international site selection firm to capitalize on economic development opportunities arising from global and national trends, as well as New York State's achievements in climate action and clean energy. This initiative involved comprehensive competitive analysis comparing New York State against 9 other states and Quebec. This assessment aims to provide actual insights and recommendations to enhance New York's competitiveness, attracting significant investment in clean energy manufacturing supply chain projects. The partnership seeks to leverage the state's existing strengths and identify areas for improvement to position New York as a prime location for major clean manufacturing research. By conducting this thorough analysis, NYSERDA and ESD aim to develop strategies that make New York more attractive to business looking to establish or expand their operations in the energy sector. So we were one of 20 sites selected to be involved in this project. The training kicked off on July 19th. The assessment online system had 213 questions that had to be answered, and I downloaded 33 documents completed by August 9th. Now, in October, we will receive a comprehensive report about Canal Side. We won't see the other sites, but we'll have comparisons against those sites. So we'll have now more exposure, I would argue, state, federal, nationally, internationally, with our site, with the program. So I think it's a very exciting program. More to come in October. Any questions?
Will we get a ranking at that point?
We will get a ring. Good. Who does the ranking? That's all. Yeah. Yeah. So moving on, we talked about July 22nd, the DEC Stormwater Offset meeting, very successful in Warrensburg. July 24th, I attended Lake George Chamber Mixer at Lighthouse Grill, which is formerly Shoreline Restaurant. July 25th, the Economic Development Council, IDA Academy in Binghamton, went to several different skill speaking series. One was an IDA Public Relations Public Affairs Strategist. One was the IDA Auditor Perspectives on auditing IDAs, and I'll say that we're doing very well. They list all the issues to look at, and we meet 99% of those criteria. And then they went into IDA case studies, including the realm of housing. And on July 31st, we had an inspection. Dan and I at Canal Side CSX storage bin program, and yet there's been additional inspections since then. So that's an ongoing. CSX is doing. On July 31st, attended the Heroes of Hospitality event at Carriage House. There were a few of us that were at the event. John, I think you were there too, right? Yeah, it was a good event, well attended. August 12th, we went to Cambridge Town Hall meeting per invitation. The town supervisor, Cassie Fiedler, and our Washington County Economic Development Director, Laura Oswald. They're working on the solar program, and they're asking us to put on pilots. So we went there just to provide advice and answer questions. On August 14th was the last meeting I had with our social media intern, Alice Fox, who returned to college. She's been great. Good news is she's worked with us remotely. August 19th, which is this past Friday, a few of us were invited to a statewide call concerning Great Meadow. What's the repurposed facility? It was an ESD sponsored call. There were elected officials, state senators, assembly people, elected officials from Washington County, Juan, Laura, and a few. There were about 24 people on the call, sort of a kickoff. As ESD said, they will act like real estate agent, like Carroll Street property. As you mentioned, a lot of rules, regulations, go through, figure out what we can do with that property. I think it's going to be a long effort.
If in fact close.
Right. There were some questions about if we reverse it. It was very clear we cannot. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting, of course, this is near and dear to the heart of people in Washington County. I don't know if there are additional comments on that. We're there to help with their private sector solution. With their private sector solution.
This could be longer than the average sentence at Great Meadow.
Yes. It's like long.
States hold for energy purpose. Or over 3 years.
Yeah, they provide a study of the past closures. It was kind of interesting that there's really been no concrete actions. But it's daunting.
Gabriel's, McGregor and Mariah all just sit there.
I learned that the site of the initial building. It's a whole large site. Wow.
Fulton County IDA, they acquired that, which I know is not the same, type of- but correctional facility to some respect, so. You know.
Did they repurpose it?
Yeah, but they have medical marijuana facility. And they should be licensed for adult use soon. It's huge, the facility itself is, but they also have other land there that will.
That's a small.
So more to come on that. The other comments or questions? As far as year-to-date engagements that I report out routinely, there's now been 71. We have 22 in manufacturing distribution, 13 in tourism recreation, 9 in hotel and resort, 1 in food and beverage, 10 in housing, green energy, 1 in medical, and 12 in other. Of the 71, 2024, 9 are possible applications, 4 have occurred. In 2025, there are going to be 9 applications that would serve from separates. There are 37 unknown what the business is going to do, and then there are 16 businesses that will not be advanced. As far as our pipeline of projects that I routinely report out on, we have 25, 2 in medical, ones we just heard today actually. So now we'll be pulling them off the list as we get through processing their application. We have 3 in tourism and recreation. We have 4 in housing. We have 7 in hotel and resort. We have 7 in manufacturing distribution, 1 in mixed use, and 1 potential bond. Of these 25 projects, 2 submitted applications, 6 are working on applications. Not sure which of the 6 will come in 2024. Some could easily slide to 2025. Basically, because we're through the process, it simply takes time. But I am expecting all these 6 to eventually submit applications. We have another 6 that are possible applicants. They have another 11 that are exploring figure out if they wanted to apply. And then we have 10 projects that are on inactive. These are 10 recent projects that are inactive. With that, that's my report. Any questions?
When you say they're working, what does that mean? They're filling out paperwork or?
They have the application, they're looking at the questions, and they're also working with their attorneys, working with their bank, and working with the engineering firm. And obviously, they don't submit the applications, they have everything scoped out. And some of these applicants are in front of planning boards right now. Matter of fact, like planning board meeting tomorrow night.
Thank you.
So the inactives you're referring to are ones that don't proceed to actually apply.
Correct. We talked to, actually, this is a lot longer, I just took 10 that last year that I decided not to advance the project. Not necessarily, it's the whole project itself, they're not against.
So like with the underfoot application, they applied, we approved, whatever, we're for, how many of them are in that category? Is that the only one?
Yeah. And some medical.
Walk on.
You're talking about.
Finance.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's an old application. Or-
They have an approval, but they come back. They'll probably-
Yeah, it's so old.
So is there a timeline on underfoot? Same thing?
Well, if they come back, they are, if their project remains the same, we will certainly ask them that. But if they are planning on still getting the same loan amount and the same, you know, same project description, I don't think.
So if the material facts are the same, it just
Yeah.
moves along at whatever pace.
Right. We'll
Okay.
have to-
Yeah.
we'll have to go back and-
That project is primarily housing, right?
Yeah, it's a mixed use.
It's- Thank you.
Any other questions? for Mr. Gill? Ally, administrator update.
I only have a few things I wanted to update you all on the village taxes. There were only 2 this year. And the Fort William Henry did pay on time. I'm having a little bit of trouble with Greenwich Preservation. This is the second month that they've been late. Technically, they paid their taxes, but they paid them late. And so I have the check. I have not cashed it. I still have it because they still owe a late fee. They owed it for July and now they owe it for August. So I'm only waiting on like $374 for us, for the IDA, to be able to send it to the village and pay those taxes. So that's where we're at with that. And then school taxes are coming at the end of this month. So just chugging along with our pilots. I also wanted to make you all aware, we have been told by a member of the public that our YouTube meetings are hard to hear. And so that's Craig. I'm going to try to centrally locate that. The volume actually comes from this little robot thing. I'm going to try to centrally locate that. Hopefully the volume will pick up better on YouTube. That's going to be hard to do with Warren County. I'm hoping maybe we can go to the committee room. Well, I'm hoping maybe we can go to the committee room where we're kind of like this and we're all a little bit closer together than all spread out in that big room.
Sounds not much better
It's not.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did notice that at the public.
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear, Ed.
It was right in
very
front of them.
clearly. I could
Yeah.
hear you.
Sometimes that's proximity of the mic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
You can kill the media.
You're just media.
Maybe you should offer.
I think that's just,
Greg, can you hear me?
we need something better.
Who? Greg, can you hear us? Greg? I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear
Zoom might be
hear
different. than-
Ally, but I can't hear anybody at the head table from Chuck Carr and Lon. Hard to hear them.
Pay attention.
All right, we'll continue to look at IT options.
Yeah, so we're working on that anyway.
Good. Raise it.
Get like a tripod or something? I'm not sure. We'll be experimenting.
According to what you say, whether you really want to hurt or not.
Meeting or committee room in Warren County did have the 4 chairs up front with the microphone.
Mike's up there.
Yeah, so that might be the solution there, and then put that in the center of the other room and let the mics carry our voice there for a little bit.
Yeah, or, I mean,
So, but we'll have to figure out additional second audio input device. Yeah, we'll see what technology can.
Amplify.
This Washington counties or this yours?
just IDAs.
This Washington County is in here.
It's very interesting, one meeting to another, the system is great or horrible. It's just hit or miss, and we can't figure out why, and neither. So.
Okay, so well, that's in the works. One last thing that I wanted to bring up was the brush cutting for the airport industrial park. Some of you may not be aware, but once a year, the IDA usually hires someone to brush cut the vacant lots, just to keep them trimmed down, keep them attractive to anyone who might be interested in purchasing them. And it's usually a 3-year contract with a local farmer that's been doing it for the past 6 years. His contract came up, or expired, I should say. So I went ahead at the beginning of July and sent out RFQs for anyone that might be interested. I sent them out to 4, only received a response back from the person that's been doing it. So 3 others, I didn't get any kind of response whatsoever. He did just today, so this is brand new information. He did send me an email. He quoted us $2,000 a year for the next 3 years to do the brush cutting on the vacant lots. And for the past 3 years, it's been $1,800. So he increased his price $200. But we also threw in an extra request at the end of Ferguson Lane where all of the unoccupied lots are. Usually that doesn't get brush cut because it's all wooded areas. We had, when I say we, Chuck and I had asked if there was any way even just a walking trail could go through there as long as possible. So when showing potential clients, they can kind of see further into all of those lots, kind of get a feel for how much land it is and what kind of land it is. So Mr. Kelly will be making that path as far as he can, just for showing purposes. He made no promises, until he gets through there with his equipment. He won't know. There might be rocks or trees, but he's gonna try.
Additional chocolate.
It's 200 more a year. Yes, that's everything. So I don't know if that's something that you want to bring up at the next meeting.
To push this because the one quick, it's $2,000, contractor, Sally's following the KISS rules. My recommendation is get approval for the board to approve.
I think that the $200 charges. Given the length of it.
Go back 3 years, price of fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. We just.
And it's money, so I should do a roll call.
One last discussion.
Okay. Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Nick Caimano,
Yes.
Jim Nolan, Trisha Rogers, John Taflin, Tim Robinson, Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Lots of lands are ours and not ours, so Hilltop doesn't run them out.
I sent a map with the our
So that had not been done this year
correct.
yet. So that's a good point. Good job.
30 days on point.
Yep.
All right, anything else from the administrator?
No.
Anyone? All right, out of bed.
We'll get, point out, you would ask, we put these on the
Mhm.
board package. Recommendation, support letter, so I thought it was a good idea to have you all see these, so that's why they're. Okay.
Great, no, those are great points to make, and if there's any questions on those, please go direct staff will bring up the questions. All right, any other member training?
Okay, so in your meeting packets, you all probably saw the grid on how well you guys are doing with your member training, with the ABO training, the sexual harassment and the workplace violence prevention. It'll have your name and when the last time you were certified, or to my records, what I have on file, when the last time you were certified for completion. So what we're thinking, Juan and I are thinking, is instead of you all doing it individually, maybe we could have a meeting where we all do it together and get certified at the same time. Unfortunately, though, they're lengthy, according to, this is not an ABO requirement. This is a New York State requirement where all public authorities need to have this kind of training. And their best practices have tutorials that are each an hour long. So I don't know if you guys want to incorporate that into a meeting. Separately, we wouldn't do it together, or if you,
Some of us, you're talking about sexual harassment, workplace violence.
yes.
I already do that for another board and county, so I don't want to have to go through it another time.
Well, all you have to do is send me the certification
Right,
from
I'm
wherever.
Gonna do it at meeting.
We just send you the
Count it out.
certification.
Yes.
Yeah. you'll be busy with Labella.
Yeah.
So what we ask is that there many of us do it at our companies or in counties, and we gotta get those certificates to Ally. A lot of 2022 dates on here. Doesn't mean that's accurate, it's just what's the most we have. And so then after that, we still have substantial numbers. Half, what we can do is close out a meeting, and then those that require sexual harassment can stay and everybody else can leave. But I think the ABO webinar, unless you actually attend the 98 Academy, which you do it in person, that has to be done individually, so.
Yes, and so the reason why we're hooked up to this little guy is I'm gonna show for all the new members here, I'm gonna show you how to go ahead and register for the ABO, because this is something that you do have to do on your own. So you go to your browser, you type in Authorities Budget Office, which is the ABO. Once you go to their website, you'll see guidance and training, and then you'll see board member training webinars. And then this gives you information about it. This is what right here is what you need. And down, when you keep scrolling, it'll show the right here are the days and the times that it's available. You can see that the August 28th has already been filled up. So these two, the Friday, the September 20th and the 25th are still available. And so what you have to do to register, the instructions are right here. It's just an email basically. And so you get the link at the time and the day that you signed up for. You just log in and listen to it. And then after that, they send you an email saying that you've completed your training. Send that email to me, get you off my list, and it's good for 3 years. Are there any questions? I sure can. Yep.
Oh, this. Yeah,
All right.
okay, good.
So we'll take a look at this again, the other two trainings. And then if we still have a substantial amount, we'll catch on with trainings after meetings for those that still need it, so we can stay updated. Really need to be fully updated by the beginning of the year, so when Paris comes around and we check that block and everybody's up to date, you know, we don't get called on if we get selected for it.
Okay.
Anything else, Adam?
No, that's it. It was a short education session.
All right, let me ask if there are any public comments.
Yeah, you're due.
Anyone wish to
Anyone
speak?
that's gray is due.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard? Have we called 3 times for public comments and hearing none? I will entertain a motion to close this meeting. Next, second, Brian. All in favor? All right, meeting is closed.
Bye,